Sequencing. The word sequencing may sound like a Star Trek title, and in some sense it really is. Recent DNA sequencing technologies are collectively called next-generation sequencing. This definition popped up on the site of the most famous research portal Khan Academy when I was looking for the most common word of the year to find more about the new British strain of the virus. DNA sequencing is the process of determining the sequence of nucleotides in a fragment of DNA. We read in the article. I have no idea what it is, but it makes sense to me and I continue reading. It must have been around the first days of the pandemic in London, as I stared at the disposable fingerprints on the cell phone after the supermarket hostel, thinking all the particles had been disintegrated and sequenced in situ on the black bag of the celluloid. During the Sanger method sequencing, the target DNA is copied several times and generates fragments of different lengths. Fluorescent nucleotides mark the end of the fragment and allow the sequence to be determined. Copying, chain breaking, compressing all sounds good. Those actions and features I like and welcome. I know it's the right thing to do and incredibly relevant. I don't have any scientific names for inventions. Next-generation sequencing techniques are new, large-scale approaches that increase the speed and cost of DNA sequencing. I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to know. Sequencing speed will increase, and future generations will take care of themselves. I've always had problems with sequencing, but this last period seemed to take hold completely. Everything was fragmented, divided, cloned, sterilized, isolated, analyzed, distant, and so on. The reality became more surreal than the games. Socrates once asked, "Is everything subject to the idea, the hair, the dirt, the mud? If there is something that escapes the idea, or manages to escape it, today nothing is measured by depth, but rather by the scale and coverage of its volume. From the virus to the effect, everything is ramified on the surface." I become a kind-hearted stalker, virtual flaneur, and a villain voyeur, observing everything from the tranquility of digital files, where I see you as an avatar. I need you to hug me. Only your soothing voice helps my nerves. Now I have the right to expose all the fears in the pandemic. Being hysteric is justified, but I am not allowed to open the window. At least I wasn't allowed to open the window during the quarantine in a hotel. You could not fully open it, only for a bit, just to breathe the fresh air. I guess they did it on purpose for safety reasons, that someone wouldn't jump and try to kill himself. Anyway, that's something that TV would proudly repeat. Enough of so many losses and equations. Mental give and take, and change. Neither one nor the other is very active in the cave. Scrolling is a rhizomatic action. Neuronic impulses. You have several tabs open simultaneously and you jump to the content. All I want to get up and copy and paste his comments directly into my feed. Even if the photos are out of context, I post them to the page and add my explanation to their explanation. As Chris Kraus said, every letter is a love letter. For example, if something is written on a photo, I will comment on that, and so the chain of paradoxes and series of events and encounters will define each other like an echo. My more artistic interests are always under control. Hope is the professional habit of the artist. I learned so much from one photo that there is something sacred about it. I look at the avatars and there is more than enough information about the person. Content, perspective, color, pose. You can't ask for more. I'm kind of a digital fortune teller. After all, a doctor can understand many things by anamnesis. After all, the most important thing is the rhythm. The rhythm of the action, the rhythm of the pause, the rhythm of the light and green button, the rhythm of the correspondence, to, from, the rhythm of the event and decisions that are under your control and out of your control at the same time. At the experiment on Schrödinger's cat, allowing to be placed in the superposition, being dead and alive at the same time.